Let's try a few more games. Not sure if I can continue a 3 game win streak. Seems unlikely, but we'll see. We'll see how my mood holds if I get my butt handed to me. King Godzilla Boy 89. Sounds intimidating. This is tough. I gotta get a ramp, and then I even only have 4. Yeah, I think I got a mulligan. Now let's try it. Let's have faith in the deck. See if they have to mulligan. Hey, they mulligan, so maybe, just maybe that'll give us a chance. Ooh, getting out early though. They got their ramp. All right. So this is where it's gonna prove difficult because they got their ramp and I'm waiting for a land. So this is looking pretty terrible. I can get a creature out, but still waiting on a land, so they probably will get something fairly beefy out this turn, and I won't have a solution for it. Well, it's giving us time, maybe. If they got nothing but land, then I got time. Not surprised to attack. Now we can start. So we get Clifftop. The reason I really like this card is it's not only a good blocker with reach, but it pulls any land that's the first land it finds in your deck. So we get a dual land. You know, can't use it until next turn, but it just comes out. You know, most land fetch is basic lands, so that's why I like Clifftop, because it's not only directly in play, but it's also going to grab one of your dual lands. The Lovestruck Beast. So yeah, this is a beefy character. He's got blue. I wish I could cast the Taunter this turn, but I think I'm going to go for a mana ramp because I need to get that Taunter in play for sustainability. Got the Fable Passage, so I have 2 blockers for the Lovestruck Beast, which will give me time to get the Brash Taunter out. And hey, I'll take that return because that's another mana fetch once I get back to it. But return does present some difficulties because if I get the Brash Taunter enchanted and they return, that is a huge setback for this deck. So we'll see. See how packed they are with blue control spells. Alright. Oh, so we got another mana. Let's get our favorite passage out. Let's get a white mana so we can cast the Phyrexian if I pull it. And let's hold our breath. Get the Taunter out to play. I got 1 turn with Alseid of the Life's Bounty because I can stop them from targeting the Taunter, but only once. You know what? I'm going to allow it. I'll take the damage next turn and see if we can get the Brash Taunter back out. I'm just playing to try to exhaust their spells. You know, now they got no cards in hand. They're starting to really force the pace with big creatures. But I got the mana to kind of handle it now. So as long as they don't draw more blue control, I can block 7 and redirect it, take 5, I'll still have 10 left. And I got the removal capability to stop their removal now. Perfect. So I'm going to put so I know they don't have removal. I'm going to just put another taunter out. Actually, let's go ahead and do this. Let's put the Phyrexian out. It's a little more vulnerable because he can be destroyed, but they don't have the white and black quick creature destruction, so I'm going to risk it. And, whoa, okay, counterspell. Didn't see it coming. Should have, but... Okay, so we mostly are gonna do this. At least we have enough mana to get Sarith out so they can't ping the Brash Taunter out of play. Because if they did that, I'd be dirt. Alright, so we're still... really decided not to attack. Okay, interesting. Well, let's get the Chosen out. Whenever I cast one creature spells, they can draw a card. Okay, I'll have to take note of that because I don't want them drawing. But I do want to ping now. So the Brash Taunter has the 3 mana to do damage, and it gets Death Touch. So this is perfect. So Coma, this is a horrible creature to fight against. But when does this? At the beginning of each upkeep. Okay, so I can ping it at the end, at the turn's end, and it won't start putting all of the little 3/3 snakes out. So that's perfect. And they take 6 damage in the process. And at the beginning of the next turn, they're tapped out, so I can just hit the Primal Tide and should be game over. Okay, nice. See what happens next. Oh, Manifest Dread, that's kind of cool. Alright, see what kind of deck we're going to face now. The Brilliant. Wonder what achievement gives you the Brilliant. Not a great starting hand, to be honest. I can't really cast anything I have. But just gonna see what I draw. I don't really want to mulligan down to 6 when I have 3 land already, so another land, that's helpful. That means I can probably start getting some things going. They got blue and red though, which is usually a fast deck, so this could be trouble. I don't have anything to put out. That's fine. Start getting white mana out to get ready to put the Phyrexian out. Let's see, whenever... creatures you control get... Oh gosh, so everything they put out has haste, so that's going to be true. We need another forest. The first spell we can cast is going to be probably a creature. I like to get the Conduit of Worlds out, but let's keep putting white mana out so we can do the Vindicator if we get a chance. When you cast a non-creature spell, so interesting. He's got slow creatures, so that's really helping us right now. What do we need? We need a red mana. Let's get it out there since I don't have a white. Since we're not getting hit, I'm gonna do Conduit of Worlds first, so that way anything that gets pinged, I can try to put it out again in the following turn. blue's kind of troublesome because you can get those enchantments that like basically make your creature a bug. Okay, so he's gonna take damage now. He's got trample. Trample does kind of hurt this deck. Let's see. Let's get hexproof going first, so we don't get our important creatures pinged just straight away. See what they got in terms of creature control. Got some decisions. That's concerning. I was gonna go with creatures. A 4/3 flyer. This can be about bad. 2 4/3 flyers. And I can't block because, let's see, so this could be 8, 10, 12 damage. So if I don't block, I'm actually toast next turn. So I have to block and lose the creature, but maybe survive one more turn. Whew. So I can't cast the Vindicator either, so that's a problem. But I do have this, which is one of the reasons that I like to get the Conduit of Worlds out early if possible, because then you can block and put them right back into play. Prowess Flyer. That's... At least he's tapped out. But I can ping it. I think it was unwise to attack, but I'm going to be at 1 life. so I don't think much is going to go our way for the rest of this game, but let's give it a fighting chance. We got 2 flyer blockers now. He's got to get an enchantment out, I think. Or not creatures. No. And yeah, unfortunately, I just can't. You know, he gives me the good game too. So yeah, props. I couldn't stop the onslaught of creature attacks. That's a weakness of this deck. I think at the end of that game, I had 2 of the Phyrexians, which are 4 solid white mana to cast, and I kind of depend on getting some other support, you know, before I can cast those out there. But unfortunately, it was a very flying heavy deck, which the Brash Taunter can't block. I had the Brash Taunter, but and I could get it out, but it wouldn't have done any good because I was getting flyers coming at me. So it's just a bad matchup, but in all actuality, I think we didn't do too bad, even though it wasn't, you know, weighted towards us. Okay, so familiar situation here, sitting on 2 mana with 3 casting cost, and we're facing the flyers again. I had a little luck. We got our 3rd mana, so we can start ramping with the Clifftop Lookout. And another white mana that's beautiful. And, you know, again, the Clifftop Lookout, right? He's got reach. So even though they're benefiting with their surveil each attack, I'm not taking damage because I got a blocker. And let's go ahead and Clifftop 1. Well, let's see. What is the dark side? Whenever this creature... Oh, okay. That allows them to draw. So I want to get something out that can actually block that, because I don't want to just sit here and let them draw. They can surveil, but I don't want them keeping a 7-card hand. Perfect. Okay. What do we got going on here that we want to do? If we get the frog out, we can get to the 4 white mana. But you know what? I want insurance that if you ping something, I can put it back out. I don't want to do the Fabled Passage yet because I want to get this Barb Servitor in my hand. But I'm going to do some blocks. Oh, see, here we go, destroy. So, I'm glad we got the Conduit of Worlds. Because now I can fetch that Sigrada out of the graveyard. But he's drawing, or she's drawing. I gotta catch myself on that. They are drawing. And that's trouble because if they have a removal heavy deck, now they're drawing cards that are gonna but they did play destroy, so I'm gonna bank. I'm gonna bank that they're playing destruction cards, which may not be accurate. But if they can't destroy the Barb Servitor, I got the Chosen coming out next turn. And that will push the pace. They got a lot of blue and black control and battlefield control, but we'll just have to see if they can, how much they can put out. So they're going to draw 2 cards. But they can't counter. Alright, so let's see here. Fabled Passage, I have all my basic lands used up now. So if this combo holds, if they can't do something about it next turn, they won't get to draw because the damage won't be done to me. And I'm going to take a second to do 3 damage. I'll pay a life, but I'll get to draw another card. I should have actually attacked before I played the Clifftop, just in case I drew something interesting. But, is what it is. Okay, well, 2 mana to get a creature out. Ooh, the Insanity Thief. Yeah, this is also deals combat damage, so they're in for a surprise because they think they're going to draw this turn. And they're not. And what happens now is we get Sigrada out. So they have to remove Sigrada before... and this is interesting. So I don't really want to draw this land, even though the Fabled Passage is not going to fetch us a land. What it does is it reshuffles the deck, and well, then I just get another land. So, Alright, so we're knocking them down. Okay, we got another Chosen, so we can put probably the Phyrexian Horror. So this is okay, right? They have to focus on Sigrada first, and then we can just put Sigrada back out from the Conduit of Worlds. And I gotta remember to do the damage lands too, because every little point helps in a war of attrition against a blue deck. So I think they realize now that any damage they do gets reflected back at them. So let's do this. We're gonna get Sigrada back out. We're gonna do it through damage land, which they're gonna drive them nuts. I think that's all 3 of them, right? Yeah. Their poor little doggies go nuts. So maybe they gotta cut. No, they don't. And again, I'm gonna use use the land to take the land off the top of my library, so hopefully I draw like an actual card. Another conduit bolts. That doesn't really push the pace, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, so if they don't ping Sagrada this time, the next turn's going to be Phyrexian Vindicator. Each opponent returns the permanent they control to the owner's hand. I'm going to do the conduit. And then discards a card. I guess we're going to discard the land because we can just play it again once the conduit's back out. Oh, reveals their hand. So they wanted to discard it, but they also have another one. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing we want to do is put the Vindicator out. And then put the Chosen out. Your land, do another damage. And this should be game over because anything they block will just reflect back to the damage to them. And wow, I didn't know if we could pull that one off. We got some lucky draws there. They had a good deck. That was a hard deck to beat. Let's try one more. Then I gotta go watch some Firefly. And make some burritos. I've been doing bean burritos with chicken and green peppers in the slow cooker and wrap that up in a tortilla with some chili spices and cumin, a little sour cream and some lettuce. Gosh, not the greatest mana ramp because the frogs are so easy to ping, but you kind of got to try to go with this deck because a mulligan really hurts when you have a lot of expensive spells. And perfect, we draw the extra mana there. That's really going to help drive the deck. So now we mostly just need to draw either Brashed Hunter, the Barba Servitor, or the Phyrexian Vindicator. Something I like to do against Ajani is get the Conduit out, even though they are likely to hit me for 3 or 4 damage this turn. I can, at the worst, put the Poison Dart Frog back into play, and then threaten with the Death Touch next turn. Yeah. So, well, he doesn't have it pumped. Doesn't have it pumped with any healing yet. So I think what I might do is put out the 2 frogs this turn. Just get the mana squared away. And that way, if we draw the Phyrexian, we have the white mana to actually get it into play. I'm a little at risk because I don't have land-based green, 2 green. So if the frogs all get pinged, I actually can cast very few spells from the deck because I only have 1 green and 2 white. So I'm sort of banking on the frogs, but I can start bringing them back out though. With the Conduit of Worlds, so we're taking damage early, but I still don't feel super life loss. That's concerning because this deck does not defend against life loss, so we'll have to see where that goes. He's got white disenchants, so let's actually put the extra Conduit of Worlds out. I'll leave that frog there. You know, we're kind of working our life right now. Like, we're leaving ourselves exposed to try to build a good foundation. So I'm gonna block a Johnny with Death Touch if the frog doesn't get pinged. If he does get pinged, then we're gonna take some damage. All right, so let's do it. We're gonna block a Johnny. We're gonna take the damage from the Vengeful Blood Witch, but at least the Johnny problem is solved. Okay, so we're getting great draws with the Chosens, but we need a creature to put it on. Thankfully, pulling these lands out, you know, every little bit helps. And we can put another frog into play now. So one of the combos I love with the Conduit of Worlds is the Poison Dart Frog, because you can give the Poison Dart Frog Death Touch, and when it doesn't have Summoning Sickness, it can pay for one of its own cost, so you can block and then pay for it. Sorry, just seeing what they're putting out though. This is a problem because every time they heal, they get a cat, and then every cat they lose, I lose a life. So life loss is hard, but this is wonderful. Actually, I'm gonna actually block with both, because if I can get rid of the life loss creature, that is a huge bonus for me. Yeah, I would not have done that if I was dumb. But let's see. So now we're kind of in a holding pattern with the death touch as a defense. So I need 2 frogs in order to cast the Phyrexian. But I also probably need to spend the frogs to block all the attacks. So it's like kind of in this position. Ooh, sacrifice. Okay. So yeah, this is gonna be difficult, but we just gotta keep rolling. It's getting a lot of creatures out. Having to choose between blocking and being able to get stuff out is not a position that's a good place to be. At least they're being conservative. Like, they could have attacked with the angel. Here's my white mana though. Okay. We have the Phyrexian in play now. So now it's like, attack me with whatever you got. You know, if they got some removal, kudos to them. That'll be pretty difficult to come back from. But if they don't have any removal in their hand, we're going to gain a significant advantage. I'm so curious what they're going to do. They have so much mana. I mean, 8 mana to work with. Okay, I'm not really worried about this. That's a really good creature, but when you have a deck that's built around pushing the damage back to the player, that is a you actually like to see that. The only thing I'm really worried about right now is I don't have any way to prevent them from paying the Phyrexian, so I'm actually in a really weak position, even though I can reflect damage. So this is good. So what I'm going to do is block. I'm going to take a damage. Oh, I'm gonna take more damage apparently. Take 3 damage. But I'm gonna kill the impending overseer because I can reflect the 1 point from the cat. So that's 2 less damage in the future. So I took 3 to prevent 2. And oh, that's a tough creature that you don't want to see because I don't want to lose the life, but they have to attack in order to. Let's see. So if I put this is interesting choice, right? So now I could put 2 Phyrexians out, but I have to take the damage to do it. Nope. We are going to do it this way. And just hope they can't move. We got our damage lands lined up. So an interesting play here is with the damage lands and the chosen on the Vindicator, I can redirect land damage to their creatures, or actually the player too. So I can at least ping these cats that keep coming up. I think what I might do though is ping the actual cat collector. So I'm curious if they'll attack. If they attack, that means they don't really know what I have in play. If they attack, it's really gonna hurt too because that's 24 damage coming back to them. That'd be 28 damage if they attack with the paladin right now. Realizing I probably should have attacked with the Phyrexian last turn too. Alright, this is interesting. I'm going to see if I can split this damage by blocking one and then... Oh, it's going to accumulate the damage. Oh no, it did let me assign them separately. So that's it. I just learned something new about my deck there. That's kind of cool. I can split the damage. So let's take care of that cat collector so that now we at least aren't getting nailed by this extra cat every turn. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is damage lands. So stop healing from that. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can do this. What do you I got 1, 2, 3. And I can't do it in the same turn. So what I can do is just get started. Alright, so let's get the second Phyrexian out. The Kia's Blessing out. This can be kind of fun. What creatures are we not afraid of? We're not afraid of Johnny. Give them their cat collector back. Don't want to give them a minus. Don't want to give them that. Don't want to give them life gain. So there we go. You can stuff their deck back with creatures that you don't really feel afraid of. And there we go. That's what we want to see is Sagrada to give us some hexproof. And yeah, let's go ahead and push the pace here. We're going to attack. So they're hoping they draw removal. If they draw removal, we're in super trouble. Yeah, actually, I shouldn't have attacked because I left myself open for disenchant. But I don't know. I get overly eager sometimes. So I don't want to get down to 2 life because that would be death with these two creatures. All I have to do is attack and I'd lose the game. I can take it now, but I couldn't for several turns. So I'd be like forced to block with the Vindicator if they attacked to get rid of that life loss threat. But if he attacked right now with the Paladin, it would actually end the game. Because that'd be 38 damage. Alright. So what's going to be interesting on this turn is we're going to cast Sagrada to get Hexproof, and then we're also going to get another Vindicator set up. Let's get that land off the top of our deck, and yeah, it was going to be over pretty quick. That was it's an interesting deck. Ajani, I mean, I understand the allure of it, but it's like so just rudimentary. Just, you know, it's like what I hear in my head about the Ajani deck is like I did a bigger, like it's just get your creatures really big and hope your opponent like doesn't have any way to continue to block, or if they gave the creatures trample, it would still not really work against this deck. But if they gave the creatures trample, it would increase the effectiveness of the deck because you know, if you're putting out like rat tokens or zombie tokens, you can just keep blocking. But you know, if you have a way to reflect damage back with even just a Brash Taunter in play, or one single like Phyrexian Vindicator, you know, a 10/10 double striker is going to be shooting 20 damage back to a turn. So I really do understand the allure of Ajani, and I think it's a fantastic beginner's deck because it's very powerful for very low mana cost. But it's also like once you get a few basic combos into a deck, the Ajani deck really loses its power. But that said, I'm kind of talking everybody's ear off here, so let's go ahead and I think I said I was going to do one more, but let's do another. You know, this is the allure of the game. So you're always interested to see like what's next. So this is coming off of a 5-game win streak. I don't know how common that is. I'm almost kind of expecting to get my butt handed to me in this game because it's unusual to get a streak going. You know, got some good players out there. I think I'm getting lucky with my mana ramps too. Like again, I only have 2 mana, and yeah, see, like I have to scry on Sagrada even though I got Sarith. That combo is just wonderful. Like I just don't have the mana to be able to try it. So let's see. Got a really slow mana start here, which is scary, but see what happens. Gonna be some kind of life gain deck. All right, so here's the Gaia's Blessing. I put these in decks to protect from milling. it's really effective against decks that try to beat you with milling. But this is the price you pay. They do have a blue mana, but this doesn't feel like a mill deck. And I had to pay 2 mana to basically get rid of the Gia's Blessing out of my hand. But we're starting to get some mana. Looks like they have some kind of instant in their hand because I'm seeing the pause. Curious what that instant's gonna end up being. What's this? It's a big creature, dang. Fetches another desert, which increases its size. Which desert? Okay. So we got a 4/5. What is it? Turn 4 right now, or turn 3? Goodness. I do have the combo, but he's got black and red, so. But with a 4/5, I don't think I can go for protection. I gotta go for getting the Barb Servitor out. Thank goodness there's a black land coming. Yeah, we're hurting with this 5/6. Now let's see. Now to be conservative. Alright, this is probably gonna be. Yeah, this is probably not gonna work out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the Cliff Top because I want to get an extra mana out. I am gonna take 5 damage or more for this turn, but what I want to do is when I play the Barb Servitor, I have an extra mana to protect the Servitor with Alseid. Provided Alseid well, there you go. That would have been the Barb Servitor right there if I didn't wait the extra turn. So it still puts us in a pretty bad position because I have to cast the Barb Servitor unprotected right now. And they got a handful of black, blue, red, and white spells. Basically all the removal cards. And then exile. Yeah, see, this is not good for. Not looking good. Because with exile, there's just no recourse. The creature's gone. You can't bring it back. Indestructible was ineffective. You can't stop the removal if it's -1 counters. But here you go. To be totally honest, I feel like this is kind of the most boring format of Magic to play against because, all he did was remove everything I put in play, and I kind of try to be careful with this opinion because this is part of Magic is getting your stuff removed. But when you build your entire deck so that your opponent just can't play anything, it's like, are you even really playing the game at that point? All you're doing is just having somebody watch you play. And I built a removal deck. Actually, let me just play a quick game with it because my feelings on this are like, if you're gonna play removal, then I will build a removal deck. And the way that this deck is structured is like, even if you have removal, like this removal is just gonna overpower it. And well, I guess they didn't like what they drew or something, but we'll try it just one more time. But yeah, just to kind of dive into my point there a little bit is like, if you just build a deck that makes it so your opponent can't play the game, like, you know, maybe if you're in a street fight, like, yeah, I get it, that's like survival, but like, you're just playing a game for fun, right? So like, why build a deck that's just remove every single thing your opponent puts into play? So Magic Universe, if you really feel like that playing style is just the way to go, like, let's see what happens here. Let's see, playing blue. Blue creature control. This could be interesting. Blue's just a tough color to play against in general because it's removal in a different way, right? Like, you're kind of like removing things before they even get into play. Or once they get into play, you're like adjusting it so it's no longer a threat. Let's see, I still have 4 casting costs to try to get to. Do a little bit of damage. Every point counts in this deck, because you don't try not to let it become a long game if you can. So we're gonna test if they have the counter spell. I'm gonna, instead of playing what I really want to play, let's play the Surveyor. And you know, we either pull a land or we pull their counter spell. It's win-win. One less counter spell. He's got card draw too. See, blue with card draw is just excruciating. What's this creature do? When you commit a crime, mill. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Lots of things I want to do, but I can only do one thing. So let's see what happens here. Indestructible usually means nothing against blue, because everything blue does is like, doesn't really care about how big the creature is, or it's either putting it back in your hand or discarding it. And he's probably got another counter spell, so let's see. They'll want to counter this. So let's make them. Yeah. Oh, and that's a crime. Oh my gosh, so I got a mill on top of that. Yeah, this deck is just hurting. But we can draw. So let's draw. So now we're drawing. Yeah, see, it's just an endless barrage of control. And yeah, I just milled like half my deck. Yikes. But you know what's interesting is okay, I want to pause to relish this moment. Because what they did was they just milled half my library, which put all these caves into my graveyard and pumped this direct damage spell, and they have no way to counter it. So with the Barbed Servitor in play, this now redirects 16 points back to them, and it's because they milled me. So that is a really satisfactory end towards playing a blue deck, is they left themselves open to go for like a really big hit. They swung. That was like a knockout blow. I only had 20 cards left in my deck in the library, but you know, I just happened to have a card that got pumped for damage. And you notice too that that swept their creature. So that's kind of like, this is my point, is you can imagine this against various deck formats. Is like this damage is getting redirected, but it's also wiping their field at the same time. So it's like, do you want to play a removal deck? Like I'll show you a removal deck. And like I only play this deck every once in a while when I just get kind of too disheartened by too many removal decks in a row. um, so it's not really a deck I even like. I don't want to say I don't enjoy playing it, because it is a fun deck to play, but it's also like I feel really punishing to the opponent. Um, and I want to play Magic to have fun, to like celebrate like the creativity of the other player. And you don't get that from every single thing you put into play is just like immediately removed. Um, so anyways, I went on a super soapbox journey there. So thanks for tolerating me if you're listening to this, future self, or if I shared this with friends. So anyways, thanks. Love the game and just wanted to have some keepsakes. Bye for now.